What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again on Thursday. We had another two-game slate in the NBA. Same thing as we did last time. It's the two-day slate where we have the game on Thursday and Friday. They combined it. It's not the in-game showdown. It's a separate contest where it's a two-day slate. So keep that in mind as you're watching this video. You could still kind of, pull some of my plays from the single-game slates and play them there, as obviously I like them there as well. But the price changes could kind of affect things a little bit if the price is way up more compared to what they are in the two-game slate. So keep that in mind, though. But the first slate of the two-day slate, we were pretty damn good. We had Kawhi Leonard. Steph Curry was tied for the highest scoring guy on the slate. He was much cheaper than Yanis. Draymond Green was good. Cantor was solid. Brogdon pretty solid. Looney was pretty good as well. So we didn't really have any busts in the first slate. All across the board, good value. Some guys that kind of hit their floor and not really screwing us over. But so yeah, we had a good night, and hopefully we can keep that going here on this two-game slate as well. So before we get going, if you could show some love to the like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Let's try to get over 90 likes in this one. If we could hit that, thank you so much. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you don't want to miss out on any more DFS content. I do a good amount of research on these videos every single day. So we got some good content here, especially for the remainder of the NBA slates and also MLB, DraftKings if you play that as well. And the football season is coming around the corner, and I also upload some videos that lead you into fantasy football, kind of get you some thoughts on some guys that I really like before they kind of get that mainstream attraction maybe with some of the guys, or just kind of catch wind, so you can be a little early in the party. So let's get right into it. The first guy up, I'm going to go with Yanis here. Had 10,200, had a solid game against Toronto. With him not even scoring that well, he still put up a big line, 24, 14, 6, and had the defensive stats. Good for 60 drafting points. And his price went down for whatever reason, and Kawhi Leonard's went up. So that just makes it a little bit easier to choose between the two. And I think he's going to have another really good night with the rebound total. That's really going to help him out, this Toronto team. They do kind of... Brooke Lopez and Marc Gasol are two guys that are kind of stretch fives. So with both of those guys kind of competing on the three-point line, it just opens up the rebound category still like a ton for Yanis, similar to what he was doing in the Boston series, just having huge rebound lines, 16 and 13, two of those games. I think he can have another big double-double here in this game, and the defensive stats will be there, as guys like Kawhi, Siakam, Lowry will be attacking him a lot, so he can definitely be busy there. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in. They're just too cheap for me at 10,200. For my second guy, we're going to follow Steph Curry again here. Look very confident in the first game one. Like I said, going into this series, I figured that this would be the series where you get some easier looks off from three. This Houston specifically, we're just doing such a good job keeping him under wraps on those pick and rolls, and him just kind of like running around pretty much the three-point line until he got open. They were just covering him so well. And Capella, he was struggling on the defensive end, but he is a guy that can defend point guards pretty well. And with game one, we saw that Enes Kanter did struggle fighting through those picks, giving Steph Curry some open looks. And I think that's going to be the case here again, where Steph Curry catches fire, hits a good amount of threes, and with KD being out again here, like I mentioned in game one, just some more shots are possible for his usage and stuff like that. And he can get a few more assists. He had 7 in game one. Only played 35 minutes because it was a blowout. Didn't need to come in that early in the fourth quarter. So hopefully Portland can keep it a little bit closer here in this game. But even if they don't, still think Steph Curry can give us around 50-plus drafting points. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my second guy. I'm going to go with Enes Kanter here. I like him again, even though, like I said, he struggled a little bit in the defensive end. But his stats are still going to be there, I think. He's still going to be a guy who's going to be able to flirt with a double-double in this matchup. And with the Warriors shooting so many shots, there are a lot of rebounds to be had, and he's the best rebounder by far on this Portland team. And he got it going a little bit at the end. He was struggling with the shot in the first quarter. So if he can just get in the groove a little bit, those layups, I think the Warriors are fine with letting Enes Kanter hit a few layups and just keeping Damian Lillard and McCollum under wraps. So I can see that happening again. They'll send some double teams at Enes Kanter and they did actually do that in the first quarter, but I meant send some double teams at Damian Lillard and make him kind of pass the ball to a guy like Kanter down low. And a few times he probably will find the Kanter for some easy layups. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there. I think he's going to be able to give us over 30 DraftKings points again here. He does have, honestly, 40 DraftKings upside in this matchup. And for my fourth guy, I'm going to go with Kyle Lowry. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. At 6,000 here, he had an extremely good game against Milwaukee. I was kind of wondering who would be that second guy in this series to step up. At first, looked like it would have been Siakam. He had a very good first quarter, had 11 points, but then he finished with, I think, maybe 14 or 16 or something like that. He was just absolutely terrible from the first quarter on. Yeah, after the first quarter, but Kyle Lowry just had an amazing game. I don't think he's going to obviously keep up that shooting ability, but maybe this is the matchup that kind of favors him. We know that in the past, one of the best spots probably to attack Milwaukee is center and point guard, but Marc Gasol, not a typical center that's really going to back you down and stuff like that. He's more just kind of if he gets an open look, he'll shoot it. But Kyle Lowry just looked very comfortable in this matchup, maybe because not as much pressure on them. I mean, Toronto, typically when he does kind of struggle in playoff games, it's when they're the kind of the favorite team. But now with them being the underdog, maybe that's giving Kyle Lowry a little bit more just free reign at him, feeling a little bit more confident. His three-point shot looked extremely good in game one. And also maybe that hand injury kind of got his mind off things. So I like where he's going. His price went down for whatever reason, down to 6,000, maybe because they made the prices before game two. It's still really cheap price tag. He's going to be really popular, I'm guessing, after that game one performance. But this is a guy I think he can keep up the scoring. He's going to have to in this series for Toronto to have any hope. Because I think Siakam could struggle with the length of Milwaukee. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my fourth guy. I'm going to go with Rodney Hood, a one kind of bright spot, I guess, for this Portland team. Was Rodney Hood in game one. Had some nice bench scoring again. And at this point, for this series to stay competitive, I think Rodney Hood might need to start in one of these games, maybe even game two, as early as game two. Their scoring just isn't good enough. Their spacing isn't good enough. They're shooting, because when you got guys like Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, Draymond Green, who has really good ability as pretty much as a center to cover the three-point line, it's just really tough to get clean looks against a team like this. So with Rodney Hood on the court, at least they have another threat of a three-point shooter. Guys like Harkless and Aminu aren't going to always beat you from three. They catch fire every once in a while, but Rodney Hood is just a much more consistent shooter. And if you keep Hood and Harkless on the court, you still have a solid defender in Harkless, and then you got the spacing of a guy like Rodney Hood. So I think they're going to have to go that way. He did get 26 minutes, so he pretty much was getting closer to starter minutes in that game because it was a blowout. They didn't play the last 3 minutes or so. So he was getting closer to 30 minutes. But I think he's going to need to start as early as this game right here, because they need the scoring. 94 points against Golden State just isn't going to cut it. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there. His price went down to $4,500, and I think he can score over 30 DraftKings points in this matchup, because they're more worried about stopping guys like Damian Lillard and McCollum. So I think the role players, Kanter and Rodney Hood, are the guys that have the ability to step up and hopefully keep this game closer. But for my final guy, Brook Lopez, like I mentioned with Lowry, it's not broke, don't fix it here. I mean, the guy went absolutely off in game one, 35 minutes. He was struggling a lot against Boston, probably because he wasn't just kind of in the right matchups. I mean, Al Horford was matching up with Yanis, and they were just putting, I'm not even sure who they were putting on Brook Lopez. It might have been Tatum for some possessions. He was getting matched up with guys that aren't really centers, where he wouldn't be banging down low. But with him being matched up with a guy like Marc Gasol, it led him to more ability to just around the rim, and he started to attack a little bit more. So maybe that was one of their game plans, have Brook Lopez kind of attack a little bit more as just a driver and getting some more rebounds. So hopefully that will stay to fruition. Even if he does half of that at 4,100, he'll return value here with around 30 DraftKings points. And he just looked really good in game one. I don't see how he can. He is kind of a streaky scorer. He has some of these blow-up games against Detroit, but still the matchup is there. He can get some more block shots. Like I said with Yanis, they do have a lot of guys that attack the paint, like Siakam, Kawhi, Lowry even Gasol a few times a game. So this is a good spot for him. And with Marcus Gasol, a guy of the same kind of build and the same kind of role as Brook Lopez, it makes sense to give him some more minutes. I mean, against Boston, he wasn't really needed on the court because Yanis could play the 5 against them. So this is more of a matchup for Brook Lopez to get it going. He scored at 12 points a game in the regular season. So it seems like he's back. Hopefully he can carry that over into game 2. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my final guy. So you got Steph Curry, Rodney Hood, Yanis, Cantor, Lowry, Brook Lopez, and you still got 5,100 remaining per player. So definitely great plays as of right now. So hopefully they work out. Really good spots. So go ahead and drop a like in the video if you enjoyed it. 90 plus likes, like I said. Don't forget to subscribe. We're about 20 subs away from 8,000. Been waiting to hit that for a while, but let's see if we can as soon as possible. That'd be amazing. So thank you so much for the support. Good luck on this slate, and we'll see you back here again next time.